Hello everyone, welcome back. I got some really good ones for you today on this Thursday, June 6th, 2024. A lot's been going on with the markets. That's what we're going to be focusing on for today's video. So welcome back, glad you made it, glad we could hang out together. And let's dive right into these markets, shall we? Actually, first we're going to discuss, it's the anniversary of the Normandy landing. So June 6th, 1944. Pretty crazy, you guys. Have you ever seen the movie Saving Private Ryan? Pretty accurate. I would say as somebody that did 5 years in the Marine Corps and has some idea of how all the fun gets sucked out of war, and it's not really anything to be, too glorified. Well, Saving Private Ryan does a pretty good job of, selling you on that message, the whole war is hell thing. And I would have to agree there. The movie did get some things wrong, though. For instance, when the landing crafts were coming in, you'll see in the movie some of the obstacles, kind of like pieces of wood, like a tripod piece of wood and then another piece of wood going down. In the movie, they had them accidentally faced backwards. So the way it's supposed to work is you had, obviously, the little hedgehogs, the little crisscrossed steel that's designed to kind of get landing craft caught up on it during a high tide. So if you were to try to do the Normandy landings during high tide, those little hedgehogs, those little X's that you see all over the beach in the movie Saving Private Ryan, well, those are supposed to stop the boats and the tanks and, do a pretty good job of that. Now, the Allies did land at low tide, so a lot of those obstacles were exposed and the men were able to kind of hide behind them. But one of the larger, the wooden obstacles, they're supposed to be two pieces of wood like this, a long piece of wood like that, and the landing craft is supposed to accidentally drive up onto the ramp, and there's a mine waiting. So to drive up onto the, get elevated out of the water, hit the mine and blow up. In the movie, they had them backwards. They also had the bunkers a little bit too close in the movie Saving Private Ryan. You'll see like the bunkers are in the beach scene in the beginning are bearing right down on Tom Hanks and his guys as they're trying to get out of the landing craft. In reality, those bunkers were much further back, 300-400 meters. But it wouldn't really give you that Hollywood effect if your enemy was so far back you couldn't even see him. The reality was when we landed at Omaha Beach, or, Juneau, Gold, Sword, Utah Beach, the other 4 beaches other than Omaha being the bloodiest and the worst, they couldn't see their enemy when they were getting out of the boats. They were the Nazis had their pillboxes a lot further back. But don't get it twisted, you guys. Rommel, who designed the Atlantic Wall, although he didn't have like unlimited resources to make it completely sealed, he did a very good job positioning the pillboxes, artillery, mortar pits, so that they had interlocking fields of fire. So these guys coming in, if you were in the landing craft, about 30 guys in a Higgins boat, if you were to come in on one of those landing craft, realistically, the gate goes down and you're actually taking bullets from the right and the left, because most of the pillboxes, like in the movie, they're not set up so the machine gun points straight out to the ocean. The pillboxes were all canted at like a 45-degree angle, so that one machine gun, one MG-42 or MG-34 nest, could cover like a mile and a half of beach and would just rake up and down, up and down. And then the other bunker, maybe a quarter of a mile away, could also rake up and down. So really you're caught in interconnected, interlocking fields of fire. I mean, guys, it's the anniversary of D-Day and Normandy. Totally look that up. Rich, dark history. But, a lot of great Americans sacrificed themselves on those beaches. And, that's ultimately breaking that Atlantic Wall and taking that beachhead is ultimately what put Germany on the back foot and allowed us to kind of open up another front during World War II, surround Germany, and kind of finish the war off. So if it wasn't for the Normandy landings, who knows, I might be speaking German or something like that. But Rommel, the German general, who was not a Nazi party member, guys, very interesting. Rommel was really just, he loved the fatherland, he had allegiance to Germany, but Hitler, he wasn't really a big fan of, and the Nazi party he wasn't really a big fan of. As a matter of fact, later on, Rommel would get caught trying to assassinate Hitler. He believed that the Nazis were prolongers towards the end of the war, so Rommel actually wanted to stab Hitler in the back. Never a big fan of Hitler or the Nazis. Was caught for that trying to kill Hitler, Hitler told him, you can take this cyanide pill and just kill yourself, or you can try to run away and I'm going to wipe out your family. So he did the honorable thing. Great honorable German general that was not a Nazi, and he went ahead and killed himself. But anyway, June 6th, 1944, that's when we cracked Rommel's Atlantic Wall, and it was a bloodbath, guys. But generally, you know, Saving Private Ryan, pretty accurate movie. When they did the screenings, a lot of the World War II vets had to like leave the theater kind of thing. You know, that's how you know they're kind of over the target. It's just a little too much for them. But I read a lot about it, guys. It's nasty. You know, the bombers were supposed to bomb the German pillboxes on the beach, also providing craters on the beach for the GIs to dive into as cover. That didn't happen. The bombers all dropped their bombs way too late, totally missing the German bunkers for the most part, bombing way too far inland. So the GIs, when they hit the beaches of Omaha, they didn't have the shell craters to hide in. They didn't have the armored support they thought they were going to have. There's a line in Saving Private Ryan when Tom Hanks says the armor, it's floundering in the channel. Totally true. They tried to send in some Sherman tanks that just immediately got flooded, and they noticed the crew of these Sherman tanks with their life jackets, and they knew these tanks were just leaving the landing craft, going into the deep water, and immediately drowning, you know. So none of the tanks made it ashore, with the exception of like one that was pretty much a mobility kill as soon as it got out of the water. I mean, we're talking about like thousands of Americans just being mowed down without cover, you know. And there was no retreating, because as soon as first wave, second wave, third wave started of the D-Day operation, you can't stop it, guys. It's a logistical nightmare. It's one of those things that once you start the operation, there's no stopping it. So the Higgins boats drivers, the coxswains, taking those 30 men at a time in, were told, don't stop for people, you know, just, you got a job to do. And then the GIs on the beach, their buddies' guts might be hanging out, but they can't really help them because they have a job to do. They have to clear the obstacles. So it's a bloodbath, you guys. You can read about the Big Red 1 Army unit that got pretty beaten up. You can read about the Blue Grays, which was an Army National Guard unit. And they're featured in the movie Saving Private Ryan. They're the guys with the patches that kind of look like a yin-yang. And there's gray and then blue. That's the Army National Guard unit, the Blue Grays. Guys, the Blue Grays took like 80% casualties in the first wave of Omaha. And get this. The planners for Omaha totally knew the casualty rate was going to be like that. So we're talking cannon fodder, you guys. We're talking that first wave goes in, second wave's already coming, third wave's already, and it's just not going to stop. We're going to keep dumping GIs onto the beach until we've cleared it. And, you know, the bodies really started to pile up, but they ultimately broke through in small groups. We're talking like squad-size elements, started clearing out these bunkers. So go check out the movie Saving Private Ryan if you're into it. Mostly accurate, did mess up on a little things, did make it a little Hollywood in some respects, but generally pretty good with the realism. You can also look up Exercise Tiger. That was the practice run for D-Day. Guys, we lost 749 dead sailors, Army, practicing for the Omaha Beach landing, the D-Day landing. They were practicing on the UK side of the channel before, you know, taking a stab at Omaha Beach. They were doing their exercise, their training exercise. A couple German E-boats snuck in with some torpedoes, sank some LSTs, killed almost 1,000 of our guys before D-Day even started. And Eisenhower knew about this, but he couldn't go public with Exercise Tiger's failure because the whole operation was top secret. So we couldn't really talk about these things till D-Day was over and won. Crazy campaign, you guys. Totally encouraging you guys to go look that up, learn about Exercise Tiger, learn about Omaha Beach, learn about the Blue Grays, learn about Utah Beach, the cliffs they had to scale there. Pretty wild, you guys. I mean, mostly Army. You know, you might think, oh, that's the Marines' job. They go in and clear the beaches, which is true. But the Marines were very tied up in the Pacific. It was pretty much on Army-only operation. Few Marines, but really in support roles only. Yeah, what a nightmare, you guys. Those boats would go in with about 30 guys. Maybe a boat would get hit by a mine. That's catastrophic kill. Pretty much everybody's dead. Maybe the boat would get hit directly by a mortar shell. That happened. Maybe the boat would just get up to the beach, unload, and then a bunch of machine guns, MG-42s, shooting 1,200 rounds a minute. Just, you could, it's not like a regular machine gun, guys, where it's like, no, these are like, like it just spits the bullets out. And that would just, you know, rake the crew. It was bad, guys, and all the guys trying to get out. So, you know, pretty gnarly stuff. Take it or leave it. But we should remember D-Day. Dang, burned about 10 minutes talking about that. Didn't mean to do that, but I want you guys to look up Exercise Tiger, learn about Omaha Beach, learn about these sacrifices, read these stories. You know, it's wild stuff, you guys. So moving on to the market. About 4 weeks ago, we had Powell himself come out, gave the FOMC press conference, really blew a lot of sunshine and rainbows up the crack of this market, you guys, talking about how there's no more interest rate hikes coming. We've reached peak rates. You know, the next thing we do is going to be a cut. We're sufficiently restrictive in our monetary policy. When Powell came out like 4 weeks ago, guys, that really sent markets to the moon. But then Powell realized he kind of overcooked the markets to the upside a little bit. Then we had the Fed presidents come out, Neel Kashkari, people like that, needing to talk about, well, maybe we do need more interest rate hikes. Maybe we need to keep rates where they're at for as long as possible before ultimately cutting them. We had Powell's speech that dropped rates, dropped bond yields. Then we had Kashkari come out, kind of walking back Powell's comments. He's the Fed president, I believe, of Minneapolis. That kind of sent those rates and yields higher, putting downward pressure again on the stock market. And then, guys, in the last 5 days or so, we saw that 10-year yield cap out at about 4.65% and then start backing off, you guys. Mysteriously, who could it be? Parentheses, the Fed. Somebody's buying bonds, driving bond yields down. Bond yields come down, rates come down. That gives risk assets like the stock market, real estate, gold, Bitcoin, room to inflate. They totally do. So right now we have the three major stock indices hanging out at near all-time highs, and we have that 10-year yield having pulled back to about 4.29%, 4.3%. So go ahead and Google 10-year Treasury yield. Go ahead and look that up. Confirm for me that it's 4.3% right now. That's good for risk assets like the NASDAQ, Bitcoin, oil, gold. On the flip side of that, that 10-year yield gets above 4.5%, really starts to send those risk assets down, lower, starts to knock off those gains in real estate or speculative tokens or, you know, risk. So when those yields and rates move lower, risk asset prices tend to move up. When those rates and yields move higher, risk asset prices tend to move down. You've been seeing that for the last few weeks. Fed kind of managing those rates and yields all the way out to the end of the risk curve, sending either Bitcoin, you know, below 70, pack above 70, below 70, kind of playing that game, guys. But, you know, nothing too crazy. So the S&P 500 right now hanging out at 5,352, NASDAQ at 17,173, Dow Jones at 38,886, so near 40,000. Guys, the three major stock indices are near all-time record highs, which makes me really glad that I haven't spent the last 2 years coming out here and doing videos about how you need to move to cash and hide under a rock and get ready for the recession. Oh God, be scared, sell your Bitcoin. Haven't done that once, you guys, and we're printing. This channel is printing. We've been tentatively bullish Bitcoin, energy, tech stocks, precious metals, all of those things printing. You know, we got gold at 2374, Bitcoin at 70,752, silver popping above 30. We can spend a minute talking about that maybe a little bit later. So nice to see, you know, good for those silver stackers. They've been hanging in there. Now silver seems to be making its run. I think a good way to frame gold and silver, and then we can move on to like Bitcoin and the meme coins. I think eventually, guys, you know, it's not going to stay there for long, but I think eventually gold's going to trade 1-to-1 with the Dow Jones. So I could see a situation where eventually bond yields and rates do spike. The Dow Jones maybe loses 50% of its value. We'll call it Dow Jones to 15,000. And I think gold is going to trade 1-to-1 with the Dow Jones. Will it stay there? Who knows? But I think eventually we might be looking at something like 10,000 Dow, 10,000 gold, or 15,000 Dow, 15,000 gold. Then if you want to know the silver price target, given all that madness, you take the gold price, we'll call it, for the sake of example, 15,000. We're going to divide it by about 15, because that's the historic relationship going back thousands of years between gold and silver. It's about 12-to-1, 15-to-1 ounces of silver per 1 ounce of gold. So you take that $15,000 gold price, divide it by, call it 15. That should be your silver price. Probably like, I don't know, like 200 bucks or something like that. Do the math on it. Do the back of the envelope math on it, and you let me know what that makes the silver price target. But we're down there in the gutter right now at like 31.25. So take 15,000, yeah, divided by 15. That's 1,000. So we could see $1,000 silver, you guys. Wow. That would be wild. You know, that would have serious implications, that the dollar empire just ain't what it used to be, that we're kind of living in a brave new world. But I could see it happen while I'm alive, you know, so, you know, it could be 10, 20, 30, 40 more years. But I think eventually you could see a 15,000 Dow, a $15,000 gold price, and then a $1,000 silver price. Woo! That would be crazy. But, you know, we don't go too crazy on this channel with stacking. We're not like a stacker channel. We're not a prepper channel. You know, we believe in prepper light, you know, keep the AK-47 close by with, you know, 10 ounces of gold or something. But we're not, guys, we're not going to go crazy. We're not going to plan for the end of the world. Just stackers, keep stacking, keep doing your thing, keep a little bit of physical gold and silver for the long term. Collect some 10-ounce silver bars, some 1-ounce silver American Eagles, you know, some 1-ounce silver maple, something like that. Tuck them away, you know, dollar cost average. You kind of get the idea. Stack a little bit of physical gold and silver for the long term. So we got that Bitcoin right now hanging out at 70,752. Pretty wild, but not surprising. This channel's, we love Bitcoin, right? So we're doing all right there. Didn't check ETH, but I think we're at like 3,900, 3,800, hanging out just under 4,000. I've been mainly playing around with these meme coins, you guys, kind of like how we talked about in the last video, you know. I still got my big bag of Pepe, but it's not here. So this is a new development. I no longer have about 1 billion Pepe. I have closer to 800 million. I did sell off some Pepe, but it's still a massive bag of Pepe, you guys. And that's just to ensure that if Pepe rugs to zero, I still made a profit on it. Because, I mean, I've been shilling Pepe since May of last year when, you know, guys, it's 100x since then, or 10, 50, 100. It's been a wild ride for my Pepe. Generational wealth almost. So awesome. You know, I've had fun with Clown Pepe, Sponge, Harambe. You know, a lot of these meme coins have just been a lot of fun, you know. Still got my Harry Potter Obama Sonic Penny new. Still got, you know, about 20 billion poo. So we're having fun with it. New meme coin. New, and I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, so throw trash at me, throw garbage at me, especially when I'm wrong, but maybe just for even telling you I did this. I bought both the Jenners, Jenner on Solana and Jenner on Ethereum. So the Caitlyn Jenner coin, I own a little bit of both of them. That's just so that later down the road I don't go, dang it, you missed the celebrity meme coin genesis. So if it moons, you know, I'm gonna be happy. And if it goes to zero, it's pretty much a write-off. Like, it's like, okay, they all died, you know. That $350 I put into each Jenner is worth nothing. I've lost a total of $600. Sucks, but not catastrophic, you know what I mean? So I'm not putting $10,000 into Jenner coin so that it can become worth $1,000. And then I tell you about blowing a $9,000 hole in my portfolio. Like, get real, we're not going there. But I did buy some Jenner, guys. You can also look at the Iggy coin, Mother, like 200 million market cap, you guys. So if you think I'm crazy and wrong, dude, look at the market cap of these coins. They're printing. They're going to the moon. Michi is another little coin you can look at that's done really well. I got my Costco hot dogs still. So we're having fun with the meme coins, you guys. Now, whenever I buy a meme coin, which I don't buy my whole position at once, let's say I decided to buy Michi, the little cat Solana meme coin, I would go, okay, I'm interested. Give me $150 worth. Then put in the 150. If I check it tomorrow and it's worth $300, I probably would. I'd actually sell half. I'd just go ahead and sell half. That way, I'm taking the risk-free ride on the last half. So I would have put in $150. It would double to 300. I'd sell 150 worth. That's taking out the 150 I originally putting in. You know, good risk management there, and then let that last 150 ride, hell or high water. So maybe it goes up and you're like, you could cheerlead for it, or maybe that last 150 of Michi you left in rugs down to 75, and then you could look to add another, you know, $50 or $75, Whenever I'm about to buy the meme coin, I say to myself, what's the 50% drawdown? So if I'm about to put in $300, I go, will I lose sleep when I lose 150 on this buy? You know, if I'm going to put 400 into a meme coin, which is a little bit crazy for one single buy, you know, I might buy 900 worth over like 6 buys in a week and a half of time. But let's say I'm going to buy one $400 buy of like your favorite meme coin. Well, then I'm going to say to myself, you stand to take a $200 drawdown like immediately. Are you okay with that? Can you sleep with that? And if the answer is yes, go ahead and throw it in there. And you know, 50% drawdown, kind of planning for that in my head ahead of time, you know, that's still being generous. Some of these coins might rug 70%, 80%, you know, so pretty wild. I still like the other non-meme coins, right? Like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. Man, Solana's crushing it. You know, it's not safe in public yet to say that Solana is better than Ethereum, so I'm not going to, but you guys kind of get the idea here. I'm really liking Solana. I really like the Phantom wallet. I like the Phantom wallet for Solana better than the MetaMask wallet for Ethereum, so there you go. But I like Ethereum. It's going to be really hard to displace that network. I like Bitcoin. I like Solana. I like Avalanche. You know, there's a lot of coins that you could look at, you guys. Maybe a little bit of XRP or Cardano. Maybe you're looking at some of these AI coins. I own like none of those, but you have like Agix, so Singularity Net, and Fetch AI, Corgi AI. There's all sorts of AI coins. Harambe AI. There's all sorts of AI coins. But for me, if I wanted AI exposure, guys, I'm just gonna buy like Microsoft, Google. You kind of get the idea. NVIDIA. NVIDIA's crushing it, you guys. And the Roaring Kitty, which we talked about in the last video, he's continuing to crush it. He's up a lot on these GameStop calls, so we'll see tomorrow. Guys, I think he just turned 50 grand into $1 billion. Go ahead and fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure the Roaring Kitty started with like 50 grand a couple weeks ago. YOLO'd it into GameStop calls, and I'm seriously, guys, look it up. The guy's making buku dollar. Like, the guy's making unreal gains right now. So we're proud of the Roaring Kitty. Good for him. Yeah, there's a lot you can look at in the blockchains, and yeah, looking pretty good. We can talk about airdrops. So my Solana wallet has received some airdrops too, which is pretty exciting. I got some chicken coins, some Foxy, some Chipipi, some Bear, some Soulcat, Kuma Soul, Tony Steak. So we're in a bit of a bubble for airdrops right now on Solana, you guys. So if you download a Phantom wallet and get your Solana wallet going, you might be surprised. You might get some airdrops put in there. So pretty cool. And the way it works for me is I just check my wallet and there's more coins in it. I go, dang, like I just got given this random airdrop, and that's exactly what happened, because those developers are trying to get network effect. They're trying to onboard, you know, more users. So they do little airdrops. Be careful though, guys, because it is the furthest frontier, the wild, wild west. So people might try to use an airdrop to get you to interact with it to drain your wallet. I mean, you know, no FDIC insurance out here on the furthest frontiers, you guys. If you buy your Bitcoin and lose it, you know, there's nobody to call, you know. Unless it's on the Coinbase exchange. They're a custodial wallet, so that might help you out a little bit. But, you know, be careful out there, you guys. So yeah, not really a whole lot going on. Just keep an eye on that, you know, still bullish. Nothing's changed here. Mega cap tech. So you got like Amazon, Google, Tesla, NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft. You could look over at the precious metals. You got the gold, silver, the physical kind. That's kind of what I reach for. Platinum and palladium, fine too. Get a little bit of exposure to that. I wouldn't own more platinum and palladium than I do physical gold or silver, but it does diversify your portfolio a little bit. You know, it helps the precious metals out a little bit. So you could look to stack some platinum or palladium. Energy stocks, you guys, they've sold off recently, so I'm still bullish energy, mega cap energy. That'd be Exxon, Chevron, ConocoPhillips. You know, you get the idea. Like big names, guys. So not a buy or sell recommendation, but just look at the largest energy producers by market cap and just know that's probably a fine place to be if you're trying to get energy exposure. CCJ, Cameco, uranium producer, uranium mine, doing extremely well at 52-week highs or close to them. So you could check out stock ticker CCJ, one of the largest uranium producers. I think they have like 25% of the uranium market. You know, they're in Vancouver, Canada, pretty stable jurisdiction. But it is a mining stock, so it's like be super careful with that. You know, I don't like gold and silver miners. I told you I like the physical. So, and mining companies are very risky for a lot of reasons. I mean, you really got to study the space for years and years and years, like I have, to begin to appreciate all the pitfalls of mining stocks. But maybe a uranium miner like Cameco's could be okay. CCJ is the stock ticker. Cameco, however, I've heard it pronounced both ways. So yeah, uranium could be hot right now, is hot. Oil's pulled back a little bit, but I'm still bullish, especially given that Biden's kind of released the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to keep energy prices low through the election. That's such a cheap move. I mean, whatever, you guys, I like cheap energy and cheap gas as much as the next guy, but I don't believe Biden should be tapping into the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which is for like war and famine, in order to drop energy prices before the election. But you know, it is what it is, and I'm not really, this isn't really a dig at Biden and the Democrats. The Republicans would pull the same kind of shenanigans, you know what I mean, if they were given the chance. I truly do believe that, as a libertarian who hates both equally. Around these elections, regarding these elections coming up, you guys, I think the main takeaway is that the Fed doesn't want to rock the boat too much. The beast system, the Treasury, the powers that be, the global elites, they don't want to rock the boat too much. So they're going to just try to keep these markets propped up through the election, energy prices subdued. And then once the election's over, you know, all bets are off. We'll see. Will asset prices like the NASDAQ and S&P 500, will they come down after the election? And then oil prices will shoot back up. You know, who knows? But going into this election, I do believe the markets are going to remain propped up, and the gas prices are going to remain semi-cheap for you. You know, not to say gas isn't going to continue to just kind of creep up at the pump and just kind of crush everybody, but you know, there is an attempt right now to keep those energy prices down and that market propped up. That's really all I got for you on that. I could give a hoot and two popcorn farts who gets elected, whether it's Biden or Trump. Guys, that is the illusion of choice. It is old people that should have left the building 30 years ago, plundering your country, using the young as a protein source. And frankly, you know, you get caught up with the politics you know, because it's such a distraction. But guys, the more you study markets, the more you realize nobody really cares left or right who's in charge, because the things that actually matter, like death and infinity, like big stuff, it exists further upstream than the political sphere. Okay, politics runs downstream of a lot of the BS. So when the Fed added 40% to the money supply via the CARES Act in 2020, and I came out, you know, telling you just went through a fascist takeover of sorts, you know, politics and things like that, that all runs down way further downstream and they're much more reactionary to those kinds of things, as opposed to the Fed and the Treasury, you know, Janet Yellen, Jerome Powell, who are really making the decision to add 40% to the money supply or not, you know. And that's not a Democrat-Republican thing. That's the beast system will feed kind of thing. That's the embedded growth obligations that must be met, hell or high water kind of thing. So, you know, crazy. Moving forward, if those yields start to move back up in the bond market, rates start to move back up, yeah, you could expect that to put downward pressure on your favorite risk asset, whether it be, you know, Bitcoin or Procter & Gamble stock. You're not going to want to see those yields and rates move higher from here on out. But if they do, like let's say tomorrow, the 10-year yield pops back up to 4.4%, then starts making its run back above 4.5%, well, look out below for Bitcoin, look out below for oil, look out below for gold. On the flip side of that, this 10-year yield stays stable at 4.29% or even moves lower, then green light for those things to inflate, the stock market to inflate, oil to inflate, Bitcoin to inflate, gold to inflate. You kind of see my framework, you know, so kind of what you got going on, you guys. But it could be wrong, you know, throw garbage at me when I am wrong. Nothing is set in stone with markets. It's all a very moving target. You know, we're always just kind of readjusting our expectations. But I'd like to see bond yields and rates remain low down here in like 4.29% or even move lower. I'd like to see the dollar, the DXY, move lower, and that would inflate all the really fun things we like to talk about on this channel. It's bad for the dollar though, guys. It's bad for those wage earners. So don't think I'm coming out here, you know, it's all sunshine and rainbows and there's no recession. You know where the recession is? It's in the dollar. It's in the dollar. I'm not worried about these markets. I haven't been for the last 2 years. I'm worried about the dollar, and I still am, you know. I'd like to see wages go up with the cost of capital. So if the S&P 500 goes up 20% in a year, I want to see wages go up 20%. That's how you get the rich reined back in. But as of right now, your wage goes up 3%, the S&P goes up 20%. You compound that mechanism for 20 years. The 10% of people that own 90% of the stocks and valuable stuff, they continue to double up. And all the people that haven't bought a house yet or bought any stock yet, they're finding it increasingly difficult to even get one share of Home Depot with their wage. And that's very sad. So I hope wages go up. I hope we can inflate our way out of this. I hope entitlements go up. So if you're an old boomer right now, like, man, you just cooked the older generation. I don't like you. No, it's not like that. You're welcome. I love my boomer cohort. I respect my elders, you know, the vast majority of you guys. And I hope your entitlements go up. So I hope your Social Security goes up. You know, I hope you have a home that's paid off, because as that inflates, you know, that's going to help you out a little bit. So, you know, I want the best for all of us, especially the people at this channel. And I want the best for my country, you guys. I love my country. And I want the dollar to be protected, but these crazies aren't protecting the dollar. And then the stock market goes up and they go, see, everything's great. The stock market's up. And then you go, well, why am I struggling to even go to McDonald's? It's like 20 bucks. And it's like, oh yeah, you didn't get the memo? We got you. We screwed you. So it's sad, you guys, but we're going to be okay. We're going to inflate our way out of this. We're going to stay positive, okay? We're going to take care of our bodies. We're going to take care of each other. And we're just going to carry on with the plan of life, all right? So I hope you got something out of this video. I hope this video finds you doing well. Like, subscribe, comment, share, whatever. You guys are awesome. We'll reconvene as things progress. And that's really all I got for you guys for right now. Thanks for watching. Till next time.